Oh, what's going on, everyone? Yes, I really do read comic books. What is going on, folks? It is Friday. This is Friday Night Live. Oh, Brian's in the house. What is going on, Brian? Thanks for hanging out, guys. If you're not subbed to The Amazing with Brian McClay, go check out his YouTube channel. Amazing dude producing amazing stuff. I'm just hanging out, torturing myself, guys. I am obviously a huge fan of Spider-Man, and I've been reading now for 14 years, and it's just been breaking my heart, waiting for something to happen. But I keep reading it. I keep torturing myself. But welcome, folks. X11 in the house. We got an official troll in the house. Troll, hey man. All right, we got X11. We got Usk. What's going on, Usk? Dale. Therion. Dale, what's going on, everyone? Matt Labno's here hanging out. Guys, we got a show today. I took a week off from Friday Night Live last week. We are back with the show today, folks. Let me tell you, we're in for it, okay? First, is as I always like to do, just a few updates, letting some folks get into the chat. Ethan, what's going on, Ethan? If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel and this is your first time, I'd greatly appreciate it if you took the time to subscribe. I produce content almost every single day of the week. I am also live on Sundays with my other half, Jeff, for our Comic Book Canon show. So if you guys aren't subscribed to our Comic Book Canon YouTube, that link is below as well. But I do want to let you all know this Sunday is Father's Day. We are taking the day off. Jeff and I are both fathers. So, of course, it's a day that we're going to spend time with our children. I'll be spending the day with my kids and my father as well. I want to give a big shout out to all the fathers out there. We absolutely appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's you know, let me not get too deep, but keep doing what you do. Keep being present, because that's what it's all about for all of us, right? So early happy Father's Day to you all. Lowbrow, what's going on? Pedro, dude, Junior Ryan, Don Dizzle, what is up, folks? All right, so a couple other little announcements. So if you guys aren't following me on the Whatnot app yet, that link is right below as well. We are on the road to 1,000 followers on the Whatnot app. I'm at like 800 and something. I'm going to have one more clearance sale, and I'm going to be slashing the buy it now prices before we even get to the live sale, and then we'll be doing $1, $2 starting bids again. I'm trying to get rid of all the stuff that I have here that was still hanging out from last sale that I didn't get to. Look for that to happen in a little over a week. I'm shooting for this following Tuesday. So what is that, about 10 days from now or so? Can't do the math off the top of my head. Not this coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, right? And then, guys, I really want to get close to that 1,000, because when we do the 1,000 followers, or when we do hit it, I'll be giving away a slab. But I wanted to wait for 1,000 followers to do my first Spider-Man only sale. But I'm going to treat you guys. I'm going to do it. Unless we get to 1,000 followers in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do it beforehand. So look out sometime in July for my first ever Spider-Man only sale. It's going to be all Spider-Man themed stuff. I'm going to have some keys. I'm going to have some Bronze Age, maybe a couple, not too much silver, at least at this point. We'll see. A lot of Bronze Age stuff, copper to modern. I'm going to have all different kind of Spider-Man stuff, from Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man run, Web of, Marvel Team Up, Marvel Tales, other runs where Spider-Man is featured in those runs, some variants. It's going to be really, really awesome. So follow me on the Whatnot app. Use the link below. If you use that link and sign up, you will get $10 off of your first purchase, and that purchase does not need to be from me. It could be from anybody on the app, okay? So talked about Comic Book Canon, talked about Whatnot. I want to give a huge thank you to my channel members here, my YouTube channel members. We got a few new ones over the last week or so. So big shout out. Thank you to you guys. I will be doing a contest giveaway real soon. It will happen this month. And to my Patreon members, thank you guys so much. I I picked out the book. Do I have it near me? No, I don't. I put it away. So it is a negative space Batman 100 silver variant. I'm going to get more details about it, but it's not like a standard cover B or C variant. I don't know if it's an incentive variant, but I have to get more detail on it. That's going to be going up to a lucky Patreon member this month as well. So keep on the lookout for that. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys for the continued support. Of course, all those links are below if you guys are interested in finding more out about my memberships and how to support that way. We got Jacob in the house. What's going on, Jacob? Planet AZ. What is going on? Oh, man, on vacation. That's awesome. I have not read Twig yet, Troll, but I did get issue number 1, and I do plan on reading it. I do, sometime this summer. For sure. Poison Elvis. What is going on? Thanks for hopping in. All right, what else we got, folks? Find me on Instagram at Jernos_comics as well. Yeah, so shall we get into it? We got some folks in the house. Let's just get right into this topic because it's a juicy one today, folks. We get some water. One last thing before we get into it. What's going on? Amazing member of the community, X11 and team, notified the chat and me earlier. We have a community member that is hit with some tough times right now. They are displaced due to, I believe, flooding was the case. X11, if you don't mind sharing with the chat again what's going on and who this community member is. But guys, I left a link to the GoFundMe in the description below. When me and my family were displaced last year, this community rallied together. I didn't even ask for anything in the community rallied together to help out. And I will forever be indebted and grateful for that. And that's what this community is all about. So guys, if you could click that GoFundMe link and donate $1, $2, if you could spare anything to help a fellow community member out in need, we all would greatly appreciate it. Strength in numbers, absolutely, for sure. Otaku, what's going on? So I'll let X11 explain a little more in the comments. Let you guys get a little more information about that. But with that being said, let's get into this topic of discussion. Lowball Scum. I buy comics, I buy collections from uneducated people, from clueless people that have no idea what they're doing, and I take advantage of them all day long. Well, not really, folks, but this is what I've been blamed of doing over the last few weeks. So, since December, I have taken on the job of selling comics. I've talked about, if you guys have followed my channel, wanting to own an LCS sometime in my life. It is a goal of mine. It is a dream of mine. I have so many great ideas already that just are outlined out, and I hope to get there one day. But what do many people do when they start wanting to get into selling comics? Well, you start hitting the con circuit. That's one way, right? Renting out spaces at flea markets, it's another way. But of course, in this day and age, it's selling online. So I've been selling on Whatnot for 6 months now, and I want to thank everyone that's participated there and have left that 5-star perfect 100% feedback so far. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys so much. Truly humbling. I dibbled and dabbled with selling a little bit on the IG, right? So when you put yourself in this position, what do you need? Inventory. So what do you need to get inventory? You need to go out and find collections, right? So I recently did a video. Many of you probably are familiar with it. If not, it's there to watch. Talking about how I almost fell victim of a bait and switch. I presented our conversation with me and this individual, and I wanted to utilize it as an educational piece to help buyers and sellers, be mindful and aware and knowledgeable whenever they're selling or buying. And I got a lot of crap I got a lot of crap saying, you're a lowball scum, slimy. Like, how dare you? That's disgraceful. And I went out and bought another collection. Actually, this is a very small. It was a long box of comics, about not even a whole long box. Somebody that watches the channel hit me up on Instagram. This was like a couple weeks ago now. It said, "Hey, Chris, I watch your stuff, and I got some comics that are just sitting. I'm looking to get rid of, downsize my collection, and they're just in the garage. And I know you need to make money. I know you're selling comics now, and just trying to get these out in a lump sum." And he took some pictures, told me what he had, and I made him an offer, and I went and got it. And of course, in that video, I get the troll saying, "Whose grandmother did you rip off?" and all this stuff. And I've been very vocal about bulk buys and what market value for bulk buys is. And I told you guys when I did these videos that I was going to do a live stream and we were going to talk about it in depth. I have some numbers that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in a moment here. I went in and crunched numbers that I'm going to use to educate you all. And with that being said, I want to say what's up to a few more folks. Marvel Goddess, Brandon, what's going on? Prime Time is here. And we got Comic Journey in the house. Comic Journey, we're complaining about how just miserable everyone in this community is. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So folks, we're going to look at some numbers, but just to add a little more context before we get into the bulk buying, guys, bulk buying, 10 cents to 20 cents a book. Obviously, that's the low end. But if you have a collection and you're going to a dealer or you're walking into any LCS store, for the majority of collections that come in, they're going to look at you and they're going to offer you 10 to 20 cents a book. Yep. And Prime Time, guys, if you're not following Prime Time, talking about reselling, man, go check out Prime Time's channel. I'm going to have him on, and we're going to have to discuss this further soon. When buying out collections for business, you have to source them low. You're not buying them to collect. That's 100% absolute facts and truth. Anthony, what's going on? So, I did a video recently as well talking about the myth. One of the biggest myths in comic collecting is that comics are valuable. And you either get, you get these individuals that get their hands on comics, right? And they know nothing about comics. And they're like, oh my gosh, comics, they must be worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And they're like 90s Superman stuff, right? But even us collectors are, I think, disillusioned by the fact that if we put X amount of money into a comic book, we should get X amount of money out. And this is the first piece of discussion that I want to bring to the table today before we look at all the data that I crunched. If you, show you guys right here. If you guys collect comics, say you like X-Men stuff, got a lot of X-Men stuff here. Say you buy X-Men Excalibur. When did this come out? Like 2010? What's that? $3 cover price, $2.99 cover price, right? Generation X from the late 90s. That's a $2.25 cover price, right? Late 90s, $2 cover price, right? This is a few years old, Extraordinary X-Men, $3.99 cover price, right? X-Men Blue number 24, $3.99 cover price. $3.99 cover price. $3.99 cover price. So there's a myth. There is a myth that what we put into the hobby, we should be able to get out when we want to sell our books. But guess what, folks? Good luck selling these books for more than $1 each. Good luck selling these books for more than $1 each. And I don't mean just some random collector that says, well, you know what? I read these. I want to make some money back. I don't need them anymore. I'm going to go try to sell them online. No, I mean an actual LCS store or an actual online retailer or somebody selling on any of these major platforms. Good luck selling these for more than $1 each. But wait, you bought them for $2 cover price, $3 cover price, etc., etc., $4 cover price. You are not guaranteed to get in or to get out what you put in. Because while comic books are a collectible, and as a collectible, they breed value, right? While they are often too a valid investment, they are a valid investment. It doesn't mean they're all created equal. And at the end of the day, some books, comic books, do not hold that value. It's similar. Do I have an example here? They're a commodity at the end of the day, just like I'm going to show you guys here. Now, this might not be the best example, but it's the closest thing that I have. Actually, this might be a collector's item now. Who remembers when VHSs came out and when they were brand new, they were like $14.99. But say this wasn't Star Wars. Say this was, I don't know, this was The Devil Wears Prada or something, right? Say it was some random movie. I bought it for $14.99 when it came out, maybe 15 years ago when they still had some VHSs. And I watched it. It's used. It's beat up. Do you think I'm going to be able to sell this for $14.99? No. I might be able to sell it for $1 at a garage sale, right? The same goes with books. If you go and you buy the new Twilight book or something from Barnes & Nobles and you spend $19.99 on it and you read it, right? Do you think you'll be able to sell it for the same price you bought it? Absolutely not. It's now used. The minute you drive it off the lot, it loses value. Any commodity, this computer that I'm working on right now, this phone that is a year old or plus old now, once you buy something at market value and it is no longer new, the majority of I don't even want to say commodities, but the majority of consumer items lose their value. They lose their value. Artists do. What's going on? So we have to understand that sometimes comic books work in that same realm. They are merely consumer items that will lose value once you're done purchasing them brand new and they are now rendered used. Okay? That's number one that we need to understand. Oh, look at this. I'm glad that we got some perspective. Mountain Comics and Toys. Let's see what Mountain Comics and Toys. Thank you for hanging out, Mountain Comics and Toys, and for adding some context here. They say we offer 20 to 40% off fair market value. Seems to work okay. If the seller is still hesitant, we will offer consignment for up to 10 books at 25% commission. For us, it's about putting books in the hand of collectors. Okay, Mountain Comics and Toys. Let me ask you something. Mountain Comics and Toys. If you had a collection come in, let's say of 1,000 books, no, let's say 2 long boxes, so maybe 500 books, okay? I would love an honest answer. And say you have the majority, okay, half of it is stuff like this. It's not legacy runs. It's not your main character runs. There's no Uncanny. There's no Amazing Spider-Mans. There's obscure Generation X or, you know, random stuff from the 90s and early 2000s to, you know, maybe some more modern stuff like this that was, you know, just there's no desire here, even though out of $3.99. And maybe within there, maybe there was a Dark Hawk #1, right? In decent condition. Maybe there was a first appearance of the Timekeepers in West Coast Avengers 62 that's maybe like a $5 book now. Maybe you had a few of those. What would you offer for 500 books of stuff like that? Would you actually be willing to take it, knowing that there might only be a dozen or a couple of dozen of books that might bring you $10, $5 to $10 a book. There's no major keys at all. I would love to hear your answer to this hypothetical question. Haha, swaggle. So while we wait to see if Mountain Comics replies to that, I'm going to pull up some data, folks. Oh, yeah. Mountain Comics. There's a good port. Maybe there's like 100 Valiant and Image stuff as well. Okay. 10 minor keys. 10 minor keys. So there's 10 books that you might be able to sell for $100. Let's say that 10 books that might have the value of 50 to 100 bucks. So we're going to do the math. 500 books. First off, he's paying. So basically, $300 for 500 books is 60 cents a book. 60 cents a book. So what we're going to do this two ways. We're going to look at this. We're going to say that they could sell, let's come in the middle, 75. There's 10 books that you could sell for $75. So let's say Mountain Comics and Toys buys 10 books, says, look, I could give you 75 for these 10 books. Okay? But now for the other 490, I'm going to give you $225. So that means that Mountain Comics and Toys just bought 490 books for 46 cents each. Let me ask you this, Mountain Comics and Toys. Now, are you an LCS, a brick and mortar? And you pay rent and electricity and you pay a staff? So, Comics, Mountain, and Toys, you're telling me that you're going to pay 46 cents each for Valiant and Image books and Marvel books like this? And if so, what are you price tagging them? What are you price tagging these books? They're not in mint condition. Maybe they're like fine, fine plus. Maybe some are in very fine. What are you price tagging these at? That's my next question then. If most of them are dollar bin candidates. So that means that you're willing to sit on 490 comics. 490 comics that you're going to sell for $1 each, which would give you a profit of roughly $225 if you sell them all. If you sell them all, you're going to make $225. How long will it take you to sell 490 dollar bin comics? That would be my next question. No more. Yeah, I would put them in the dollar bin. Okay, so that's 490 comics sitting in dollar bins, taking up space on the floor wherever the dollar bins are. You're paying rent. You're paying electricity, right? And I would like to know, to get an idea, how long do you think it would take you to sell 490 dollar bin comics of stuff like this and some Valiant and maybe some more modern random stuff? That would be my next question. And then here's my question to you, Mountain Comics and Air. If everyone brought in their collections like this and you're paying 50 cents a book, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars on thousands of dollar bin fodder. So where do you limit it? Where do you limit it? Does everyone that come in with their dollar bin junk get your deal, get your handshake? Because at some point in time, you're going to run out of space. Your dollar, and I guarantee you, your dollar bin books aren't going to move that fast. So you have to take an approach of how much of this dollar bin stuff can I put on hand, right? How much can I keep on hand? And how much money can I spend on dollar bin stuff knowing that that's all it is? Because I'm going to tell you right now, folks, what Mountain Comics is doing is a favor to anybody out there sitting on junk like this. They are doing you a favor. And Mountain Comics and Air, I might assume Mountain Comics and Air might be doing really good. Maybe they might have a majority of their inventory where they're bringing in a revenue that can support them to pay 50 cents a book, 46 cents a book. But even then, remember, folks, they're still paying you 46 cents a book. They're not paying you $1 a book. They're not paying you $2 a book. Mountain Comics and Air is paying you 46 cents a book for dollar bin stuff that they're taking huge risks on because it's stuff that could sit there for months or years and they can actually lose on it. I guarantee you the majority of brick and mortars out there they're not gonna inventory costs money to hold. And they're gonna limit themselves to say, I don't even have room for that in my store. I don't want it. It's not even worth it to me. If you have no dollar bins available, what are you buying when you walk in? Plus people, absolutely, Mountain Comics Center. I'm not, hey, if I have a store, I'm having bargain bins. Because for most of my life, I've been a bargain bin shopper. That's kind of changing now. But yeah, I have. But my point is, your whole store isn't going to be a dollar bin store, or you're going to close your doors real soon. You're going to close your doors real soon if all you have is dollar bin fodder. You're not going to be able to survive, especially in this economy, with rent. There's absolutely no way. But Mountain Comics and Toys, I just gave an example of a collection that's not going to be your bread and butter. So I'm sure Mountain Comics and Toys has more inventory coming in where they can actually pay a bit more because there are valuable books in there, and that's their bread and butter that allows them to have a larger profit margin that allows them to pay bills and keep their doors open. Full retail, Carell, is subjective when it comes to comic books. There's no such thing as full retail unless it's a new cover price book or trade paperback. All right, guys, we are going to bring up some data. We're going to bring up some data. Mountain Comics and Toys, I appreciate you using the hypotheticals here. I want to say one last thing, though, guys. You got to understand, Mountains Comics and Toys is doing you all a favor by paying you 46 cents for dollar bin books. And it's most likely because the majority of their inventory is stuff that they can get still at a percentage that allows them to have a wide enough profit margin to keep their doors open. All right, we are going to bring up some money. There we go. Exactly. I don't buy every collection either. Don't get me wrong. There are times when I say no. And that goes to my point that I was trying to say earlier. Because space is finite. All right, we're going to bring up some data, folks. And this is what's really important today. This is going to be very, very important today. And what I want everyone watching to understand here. Let me share my screen. Give me one moment. All right, here we go. All right, folks, what you see here is a few things that we're going to break down. Now, if you guys watched my video where I was talking about the bait and switch, I originally offered this guy $400 for what he said was 11 long boxes that weren't all full. We estimated about 2,500 books. I asked him if he knew what he wanted for it. He said no. He said, I had no idea. And in the pictures, all I saw was stuff like this. I saw some Valiant, some Image, and I saw a couple of like Brave and the Bolds here and there, Bronze Age Brave and the Bolds, a couple of Copper Marvel stuff. It was dollar bin fodder for the most part of what I saw. I didn't see anything of any value at first. He didn't have any offer for me. So as a business, as a dealer, as a reseller, I have to protect myself. And I offered him $400. I offered him $400 originally, which comes out to about 16 to 17 cents a book, give or take. Now, that's still probably higher than what a lot of LCSs would have given him. He then showed me a few more pictures, and I was like, okay, there was like one book in there. There was like a $20 book. There was like one $20 book that I saw. But still, there wasn't much of anything, and I gave him an offer of $750, and that was like my final offer. And that was roughly a little over 30 cents a book, okay? We're going to look at the numbers right here, though. And everyone was getting on me. Everyone was getting on me for offering him $750 for about 2,500 books. So this is what we're going to do. If you look over here to the left, guys, 250 comic books at $750 is 30 cents a book. All right? But from talking with him and knowing what was in his collection, about 30% of it was 90s indie. And no, I didn't even see any Spawn #1s or anything like that. It was mostly Valiant. If it was Image, it was like the most random Image stuff that you can ever find. And, we're talking like quarter bin stuff that won't even sell. So that means you can look at it this way. That means I'm paying $225 for 750 90s indie books that I can't sell. So right there, that's trash. It's basically trash. I will throw some books in. When people buy books, I'll throw them in as fillers for free. That's what I would use those for. Give them away in contests or something like that. So essentially, I'm spending $225 expecting to get no return on. That books that I'm going to throw in the trash, that are going to sit in my inventory, or that I'm going to give away for free. So another way to look at it is you could get rid of those and say, well, technically, if we minus those 750 books, I'm only buying 1,750 books then for $750. So what does that mean? That means I'm paying 43 cents a comic book. All right? And roughly, we worked it out to about 30% of that was DC. 40% of it was Marvel. All right? 500 of it was 90s modern. So that's more stuff that either is going to sit and not sell even for 50 cents. So that's another $250 that I spent on 90s modern stuff that, and I don't have a shop. I sell online. It's not going to move. It's not going to move. So that's another $215 down the toilet. So now what do I have left? Technically, I'm buying 1,250 comic books at 60 cents each. Okay? And again, these aren't keys. These are beat up. They're mid-grade. You know, maybe some Brave and the Bold. There was no main titles. There was no Amazing Spider-Man. There was no Detective Comics. There was one Batman book that was like a $25 to $30 book. That's it. There was Willow #1, which ironically got a little hot right now. That book's going for like $30. When before it was maybe a $5 book. But a lot of this type of stuff, a lot of some modern random, again, no legacy runs. And when I mean legacy runs, top tier runs like Uncanny X-Men, Amazing Spider-Man, The Avengers, Incredible Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Invincible Iron Man. None of that. So I'm paying 60 cents for that, for those types of books. Now let's look at a hypothetical here, folks. So we're going to look at this top line over on the top bar here. Right here. Now, this is a hypothetical. If I sell one of those books, this is per book. If I sell one of those books at $2 a book, on Whatnot? Whatnot charges a 10.9% fee, which comes out to 22 cents out of that $2. They also charge a 30-cent listing fee, no matter how much the book sells for. They charge a 30-cent listing fee, so that's 22 cents for seller's fees, 30-cent listing fee, and I put all of my books in a new bag and board. I put all of my books in a new bag and board. That's roughly 20 cents per fresh bag and board, plus Gemini mailers. Now, Gemini mailers at the cheapest cost me 75 cents each. That's the cheapest I could get them. On average, so far in my Whatnot sales, the average buyer will buy 3 books. So that means one Gemini mailer per 3 books. So that's why I'm saying that the Gemini mailer cost is a quarter, because I'm dividing the 75 by 3. Okay? Now, how much did the comic book cost me? It cost me 60 cents. Add all these up. I sell a book for $2, 22-cent fee, 30-cent fee, $22 bag and board, 25-cent Gemini mailer, cost of comic. My profit on that book, 43 cents. 43 cents. 43 cents. Now, I'm not even talking about packaging tape. I'm not even talking about paper that I use to print shipping labels. I'm not even talking about ink in my inkjet printer. That is very expensive. I'm not even talking about gas that costs me to drive back and forth to the post office. And guess what I'm not talking about? Time. The time it takes me to grade the book. What if I pressed and cleaned the book? I bagged and boarded the book. I took time to sit and have a sale and sell the book. I took time to organize the books and package the books. So who's paying my hourly wage? No one. Me. My profit margin is paying my hourly wage. And I made, before I can even look at all that other stuff, I'm only in the positive 43 cents on that book. You see what I'm saying here, folks? Fats, appreciate it. You see what I'm saying? So, we're going to put the hypotheticals aside, and I'm going to give you a real life example. A real life example, and that's right down here in blue. Real life example, guys. Now, I want to make something very clear here. I have yet to pay under 50 cents a book with all the collections I got. And I'm going to tell you, after I give you this example, how I buy collections and how I price them out. I'm going to tell you guys that. but I'm going to give you guys this example first. So for all of you telling me, whose grandma are we ripping off or lowball this and lowball that, I have yet to pay under 50 cents a book. Actually, the last collection I bought, I think it was like 48 cents. Came out to like 48 cents a book. So right there around 50 cents. And that was the lowest I ever paid for any collection. Let's take this. These are numbers from my last sale right here. My last whatnot sale. These are facts. This is real. And I'm showing you guys. All right. Now, for the books that I had for this sale, I roughly paid about 90 cents a book. Some of the books that I was selling, I bought in a collection where I paid $2 a book. Yeah, a bit high, right? And some of them were from the one where I paid 48 cents. The majority of them were books that I bought it for $1 in a collection. So I rounded it out to roughly about 90 cents a book. It cost me 90 cents a unit. All right. So let's look at this. Right here. I brought in before fees, $260 off of 149 units. Again, I sold 149 comic books. And I brought in $260 before fees. Now let's calculate my fees. The 10.9% fees that Whatnot charges, $28. The listing fees, total listing fees from that sale, $24. Bags and boards, because I bag and board all my stuff, $30. Okay. Gemini mailers, $14 of Gemini mailers. Okay. My cost for what I pay for the comics, $134. So, how much profit did I get off of that sale? And I'm not even taking into consideration fixed costs. $30. $30, guys. Now, let's add more context. Again, packaging tape, paper, printing paper, printer ink, gas money, time. So let's do this. Let's look at labor, folks. Let's look at labor. Now, I'm doing this as a job. It's what pays my bills. It puts food on the table for my kids. I'm doing this as a job. You already saw that when I was done with this show. I bought the books. I pressed to clean some of them. I graded them. I bagged and boarded them. I filed them. I entered them in. Oh, shoot. I didn't even add that to my labor time, my labor hours, entering them into the Whatnot app. So I didn't even add that. So it would be time, labor, all that. 2 hours working my live sale. It was a 2-hour live sale, right? A half hour printing shipping labels. 6 hours packaging. It took me 6 hours to package all my books that I sold. A half hour post office run. 2 hours pressing. And I didn't even include about maybe, at least another hour or two entering them into the Whatnot app. Do you know what that comes to per hour, folks? If you look at all of my labor that I'm working, I'm making $2.73 an hour. $2.73 an hour. And that's not even right. That's not even accurate because I didn't include all of my fixed cost. How about the money that I'm paying for internet every month to be able to do live shows? The power that I use to run my lights, my PG&E bill. Gas. I didn't even include gas from going back and forth to the post office. So I'm not even making $2.73 an hour. So this is what I have to say to you folks. All of you folks that are out there saying, I can't stand these, I can't stand flippers and resellers, lowballing. And don't get me wrong, we could do a whole nother video on what's ethical and what's unethical. There are slimy people out there looking to get over on folks. And we'll talk about that a little bit today too. But to anyone out there saying, you're going to offer this guy pennies to the dollar, you know what my reply is? You know what my reply is, will be? Tell the guy wanting to sell the collection to sell them individually himself. Tell the guy that wants to sell his 1,000 or 2,000 80s and 90s comic books or modern comic books that he paid $2 each for, $3 each for, $4 each for. Tell him to get on Whatnot, to bag and board them, price them, grade them, and get on Whatnot and spend hours and hours and hours a week, a month. Tell him to spend hours upon hours bagging and boarding and shipping just for him to make $2.73 an hour. Tell him that, because I guarantee you the majority of these individuals that are trying to get their collections off ain't gonna freaking do it. No. Ain't nobody in their right mind gonna do this unless you really have the drive and the love to build a brand, because it's your dream to one day own a comic book shop. So, the point that I'm making here, and this is what I tell anybody that hits me up saying, I got a collection, I want to sell it. You know what I tell them? I give them the tips. Never do I sit there and try to scam anybody. I tell them straight up. I say, I'm buying this for my business. I'm a dealer. I buy in bulk for a reason. The myth is that selling more comics will get you more money. False. False. Selling more comics at once is bulk buy, and it's going to attract dealers, flippers, and resellers. And I ask them, what do you want to do? The more time that you put in to your selling your collection, the more you're going to get for it. If you want to take the time to price your books out and sell them individually, more power to you. And you know how many times I help them? I go on Cover Price, I look at eBay sold, and a deal never happens. I don't get any. I don't buy the person's collection, but I will take time out of my day to give them tips on how to price their books out. And I tell them, try putting them up on Mercari, Facebook Marketplace. You want top dollar for your books? Price them out, learn how to grade, go buy yourself an Overstreet guide to graded comics, spend $12, $15 on that book. If you work a 9 to 5, come home, spend an hour looking at a couple of your books, trying to grade them, go online, look at eBay sold, look at Cover Price, and list them on Mercari and try to get top dollar for your books. But if you want money fast and you don't want to do the work, you better be knowledgeable of the bulk market. And guys, I'm not sitting here saying that every collection is treated equally. But you got to understand, you're not going to get fair market value, especially if the bulk of your collection is dollar bin fodder. And people just think because they have one or two good books in there that it's the magical item that's going to drive the value of your 1,000 book up. When in reality, somebody like me in my position, I need a collection to have a few keys because, guys, I'm gonna be working for $2.73 and taking losses. I took losses on many of those books. I lost. The only reason I was able to make $2.73 an hour was because for 20 books that I sold and lost money on, there was one book that I gained a little money on. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Let me repeat myself. The only reason I was able to make $30 profit and essentially make $2.73 an hour on my last sale was because of every $15 to $20 books, 15 to 20 books that I lost money on. There was one or two books that I actually gained money on. Now, let me give you guys an example of how I purchase collections. Yes, it is, Fets. Big shout out to Tommy Boy Collections for gifting me this hat. Bronze Age. What's going on, Bronze Age? All right, I'm going to give you guys an example of how I purchase books. Not every collection is treated equally. Okay? First and foremost, as a retailer, it's not up to the buyer to be a ethics police. It's not your place to be a slimy slimeball, unethical individual. But if you go and see a collection and you ask, what do you want for it? And they say $500. And they have an amazing SpiderMan 129 in there. You ask them what they want. They said 500. You know what that means? It means they know what they want. They know what they want for it. They don't care what's in there. And a lot of people will tell you, you know what? I got this from an uncle that passed away. I don't know anything about comics, and I just want it out of here. So many people running estate sales or doing estate sales, or they don't care. But then you might have collectors that are parting with their collection, and they say, I know there's some value here, but I don't want to spend the time. I need money fast. Can you work with what's your best? And then you can say, okay, well, let's come to a fair, whatever. What were you thinking? Well, I was thinking this. And maybe you say, well, I could come down to this. And then you work on something. I'm going to give you guys an example. I had an older couple reach out to me. This was like the second collection I ever bought last year. He had about 400 and something books. He was like, oh yeah, they were in the attic collecting dust, and we don't care about him anymore. And we want a good a little bit amount of money for him, but we don't want to price him out and do all that, whatever. So there was some Spider-Man stuff in there. I knew there were some keys. There was an Amazing Spider-Man 101, first appearance of Morbius. There was Marvel Team Up, 65, I think, the first U.S. appearance of Captain Britain. There was I actually didn't know there was Amazing Spider-Man 194, first Black Cat. I didn't know that. For some reason, I went through it all, but I missed that one. There was first appearance of Taskmaster, Avengers 196. Those were like the few big ones. There's ASM 100 too, I think. Just the 100th anniversary issue, which is a solid book. There was that. There was 101. Oh, there was 135, the second appearance, second full picture. First Taskmaster, first U.S. Captain Britain. And there was maybe a couple of other little minor things. There was 400 books. I said that, and then there was some other like Copper Age Amazing Spider-Mans that weren't in, they were mid-grade condition. There was some bronze and copper age Avengers. And then the rest of it was like really, really beat up DC stuff, like Bronze Age DC stuff that was like, some of it was taped because it was falling apart. There was some Archie stuff and some Dell Comics stuff that was really beat up, some Casper the Ghost and Flintstone beat up stuff. This is how I purchased this collection. I said, look, there's about 20 books in there, 15 to 20 books. I'll give you $400 for. I will give you. So what I did, I went and looked up Amazing Spider-Man 101. And I gauged kind of a lower fair market value. I did the same thing with the Marvel Team Up Captain Britain. I did the same thing with the Taskmaster book. I did the same thing with the ASM 100. Oh, there was also second appearance of Hobgoblin. And I said, I found a very fair value. I went a little under what I thought I might be able to sell them for because, of course, I'm a business. I got to make a little money. I will give you $400 for these books. And for every other book, I'll give you $1. For every other book, I will give you $1. So you can look at it two ways. I gave them $800. I paid $800 for this 400 book collection. So you can look at it two ways. I either paid $2 a book, which include, and again, remember, guys, I didn't know 194 was in there. I might have gave them like $50 more. I may have added $50 on. I either gave him $2 a book or I bought his keys at a solid value and still paid way above wholesale bulk value for the rest of it. And could I sell some of those Bronze Age Spider-Mans for maybe $3, $4? Sure. Could I sell some of those Avengers for $2, $3? Sure. Can I press and clean them and maybe sell them for $5, $6? Absolutely. But what are we looking at? We're looking at labor. We're looking at all the fees. I already paid $1 each for these books. So profit margin is going to be very slim once you start calculating all the fees. And then when you start looking at all the labor that I put into it, my average for this being a job is very, very low. And God, my light is tripping. When I sell that Amazing Spider-Man 101, I think it ended up being like maybe a 3.5. When I sell that Amazing Spider-Man 239 second appearance of Hobgoblin for $20, my profit margin might be a little bigger, but remember, I paid solid fair market value for those. I didn't just pay $1 for them. Well, Reef, you got to understand though, with the platforms, think of it like this. When you're selling on a platform like Whatnot or eBay and they hit you with all the fees, you know what I don't have to pay? I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to pay rent. And that's huge. And utilities for the space that I'm renting. I don't have to pay employees either. So that's a whole different ballgame. Now, here's one other point of view that I really want to hit home today, folks. This is very important. You know what, Brandon? I kept the Taskmaster, have it in my collection, and I'm keeping it. So, yeah. Yeah. I think I sold his first cameo, but this is something else that I want to hit home to you guys today. If anybody is mad at me or a reseller that sells on Whatnot or IG or Facebook, maybe they have a YouTube channel and they sell comics and they're buying collections and they're making videos of buying collections and they're paying 15, 20 cents a book. If you want to be mad at them, here's my advice. Don't ever walk into an LCS ever again. If you are mad at anybody in this community that's a YouTuber, that's on IG, that's on Whatnot, that is buying in bulk for cents on the dollar, don't ever walk into an LCS ever. Don't ever tell me that you support LCSs ever again. You want to know why? Because guess what? More often than not, they're paying less than we are. They're doing exactly what we're doing, maybe even worse, in terms of what they are offering for collections. What? And I'm not even mad at them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is you're a hypocrite if you're doing that. You are a hypocrite. If you go and support your LCS and say, oh, brick and mortar LCSs, we need LCS, screw eBay. Go buy comics from your LCS. Screw Whatnot. Go support them. They're the ones that we need. Anybody that wants to go into an LCS, a gem in the rough. If you guys want to go hunt your dollar bins, hoping to find a gem, or your back issue bins hoping to find a gem that's under fair market value from an LCS, don't ever do that again. Don't ever be excited about doing that because they're paying a dime a book. So, how hypocritical is it to sit here and say you support LCSs when the book model has been set up for decades by LCSs? Reef asks, why would you press a book unless you're going to slab it? Because if I have an Amazing Spider-Man, even if it's not a key, I don't have any, even if it's not a key. Okay, this right here. Web of Spider-Man 47. It's not a key. Oh, actually it is. It's the first cameo appearance of Demo Goblin. And it's a late 80s newsstand. Right now, this book is probably at a near mint minus. But I'm going to press it up. I'm not going to slab it. I'm going to press it up because I could bump this up to a near mint and sell it for more. If you have a book that has pressable defects and you're selling raw, pressing the book can get you more value for that book, regardless if you're going to grade it. But back to my point, folks. Don't stop supporting your LCSs. Okay? They built this model. And I'm not mad at them because LCSs have rent. They have employees to pay. They have to keep the lights on. The only reason collectors like you and I are able to go find cool stuff in dollar bins, the only reason we're able to go to A1 Comic 50% off sales or whatever your local comic shop is, the only reason we have free comic book days, right? The only reason you can dress up with your son in Captain America or Spidey gear and go down in May to your local shop and maybe they have 25% off back issues or 50% off back issues. The only reason you're able to do that, the only reason you're able to go through the bins and go on those hunts is because those places buy those same comic books that you're digging through, they bought them from somebody else at pennies on the dollar. The only reason comic books are alive and well is because somebody out there is selling their and they're accepting pennies on the dollar. So while you want to be jury and executioner and act like this is so bad, probably, and I'm going to tell you why you probably think that it's so bad. Because in the back of your mind, you don't want that day to come when you have to sell your collection of 80s and 90s shit. You have in the back of your mind, you do not want that day to come when, and look, sometimes it's serious for us. Maybe you have a health issue come up, maybe a family member, maybe something happens and you need money fast, and you spent all of this money on comics and now you need money quick. You're probably defensive about it right now because you don't want to admit that the day might come where you are going to have to accept that 15, that 10, 20 cents a book. But that is the reality of the situation. Unless you got months on months on months. Price it, grade it, sell it, ship it on Whatnot or eBay, hoping to get 30 cents in profit a book. This is all real, folks. That's the reality situation. Now, I said before the show ended today that I would bring up ethics. Comics dirty. There is still a right way to do this. There is still a right way to buy collections. I don't ever see myself buying a collection that I know has some value and simply saying, oh, I'll give you 15 cents a book. No. And if you're an LCS, you know better. You know better. I think the best way that we can be ethical is to do that example that I use. And I'll use another example. It's to price out the value books and bulk buy the rest of it. Price out the value books, give a decent value that might be under fair market value because you're still going to need to make money. And then bulk price the rest of it. I recently bought about a long box. It's less than a long box of comics from a guy that reached, I brought this up earlier. He had an Amazing Spider-Man 299 cameo appearance of Venom. It was a nice book. Maybe a very fine plus. He had like he had a what else did he have? There wasn't really much of anything else. Oh, I think there was the third appearance of Taskmaster, I think, and which, you know, I mean, I think that book goes for maybe $10. Other than that, everything he had, it was Spidey stuff, but it was a lot of low grade stuff, like the centerfolds, detach off the staples, completely beat up. There was some like Web of Spider-Man stuff that was indecent. Maybe I could press them up. Oh, first appearance of Tombstone, which is a nice little minor key. So I basically gave him $60 for Amazing Spider-Man 299 and the first appearance of Tombstone. I gave him $60, and then I gave him about 40 something cents for everything else. And he said that I gave him my offer and he said, that sounds fair. And we made the transaction. He could have countered. He didn't. He accepted my offer. And I felt that that's being transparent. That's being ethical. I couldn't have sat there and gave him 20 cents, 25 cents a book, knowing he had some books of value in there. I will never do that. But like I said, I've overpaid. I've overpaid very often in my early days of selling. And it's hurting me in terms of being able to do this as a business. It's hurting me. I can't overpay. I can be ethical without overpaying. And that's the right way to do it. So for anybody out there that is ever, if you're thinking about selling collections and this is like, this isn't sitting well with you right now. You're like, man, this is whack. Like, really? I mean, but I spent all this money. I have this collection. I know there's some value here. First off, again, not every collection is treated equally. If it's a Silver Age collection, that bulk value is different. I'm gonna give you an example. If you got a few long boxes of nothing but Silver Age, DC, and Marvel, bulk value isn't 10 to 20 cents anymore. It's not. I can't tell you exactly what it is off the top of my head. It depends if it's legacy runs. But that bulk value is going to go up for Silver Age books. It is. But if you have bronze to modern, it really depends what you have. If you have legacy runs, remember, like the guy, I got some Amazings. I got some Avengers. There were some Marvel Tales in there. I gave him $1 a book. I still think that was a little high. I gave him a fair market value for his keys, and I gave him $1 book for everything else. I probably would have got away maybe with even giving him anywhere from 60 to 70 cents a book. And I thought that would have been fair. So if you're ever in this situation, know what you have. And when I mean know what you have, it doesn't mean you need to price everything out. But take some time to go through it. And don't be afraid to negotiate, ever. Don't just accept somebody's low offer. Negotiate. Or if you know that you have a collection that has some keys, work out a deal in the way that I've been giving you examples of. Say, look, I know I need to keep these. I got about 20 books that are really key books. I don't want to take the time to list them on eBay. I want a decent fair market value for them, but I know that, you need to make money. But I want to keep them with this collection of this other stuff to really make it worth it for you, because I need all the money I could get, right? Think of it like this. If you have a collection, let's do some math real quick here. If you have a collection of 1,000 books, okay? And you think, maybe you have some Bronze Age stuff, maybe some Copper Age stuff, a little bit of modern. Say you think 50 cents a book is fair, but you have 20 books that you think are worth $300. Now you can sit here and say, I'm going to take the $20. I'm going to cherry pick the books. I'm going to take them out and try to sell them for fair market value. So you may have $300 on hand now, but if you have 1,000 books and you sell them at 50 cents a book, that's $500. You may have gotten 300, but how easy or how hard is it going to be for you to sell everything else that you have? Either in bulk buy or individually. You see what I'm saying? So while you may look at it as, well, I'm getting less per book if I sell in bulk, you're still getting a larger lump sum, and it's easier to liquidate a collection if it has books with value in it. rather than skipping through it, pulling out all the books of value, and then you're sitting on 1,000 books of junk, and you're like, come on, man, like that's 1,000 books. I invested like $4,000 in this. I expect to get at least a quarter of what I put into it. No, you are not getting $1,000 for those 1,000 books because I have a business to run and I'm going to lose money. So I'll tell you what, go try to spend the next 5 years pricing them and selling them on eBay or whatnot. And good luck with that. Good luck with that. Raising Elm. Keep it awesome content. I appreciate it. Same to you, man. Your first Father's Day. So same to you as well. Thank you so much for the super chat. Comic Journey. The way to get me to overpay is sell me something weird and obscure. Hey, but you know what? I think that's the collector in you, Comic Journey. Remember, guys, remember this. Yeah, that's for sure, Apollo. Remember, people that buy as collectors are going to pay different. If I was buying as a collector, a book that a reseller might pay 50 cents for, I might pay $1 for all day long. I might pay $2 for all day long. You got to keep that. Mountain Comics Toy says, not to mention, if you're buying a 20 to 40-year-old collection, you got to pay for the time and care put in to maintain it. I think that correlates into the value of the book, absolutely, because, like, I'm going to show you guys something. Well, I'm going to show you guys something. See here. Yeah, I took a lot of it out already. I mean, if you got a collection that's been sitting for 30 years, and a lot of them are, and they're sloped over like this, they're sloped over like this, or they're not in bags and boards and they're like this, and they're beat up, you know, you got, I mean, you know, these are low grade copies. That shows you how they value what type of time and care was put into these. None. And it shows because the condition of the books are low grade, and that affects value. So yeah, if somebody bought books, if these books were bought, bagged and boarded and taken care of, they would be high grade books. Hence, I would have offered more than 40 cents a book. Maybe I'd offer 75 cents a book. Maybe I would have offered $1 a book. I don't know. It all depends, right? It's 2 long boxes of Doom Patrol for $80 a good deal. Which Doom Patrol? Depends which Doom Patrol you're talking about. DJ was Artist Dude. Hey, look, 1 through 5 right now. Obviously, you got the first appearance of Omega Red in there. And look, issue number 1 isn't just a $1 book anymore. It's a little, you know, in Near Mint Raw, you can sell that book for $5. Metal covers are awesome. CG, what is up? I just wish I could unload dollar bin fodder for 10 cents a book. And I think that goes to show that some books just won't sell, guys. Some books won't sell, and that's why people make mystery boxes. Right? Storage fees too, exactly. You know, you're not thinking of overhead and fixed costs. People aren't thinking that either. Oh, Comic Journey, I truly appreciate you, man. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm good. I'm good. It's a good. It it keeps it pumping, right? It keeps it pumping. Oh man, I appreciate you, Comic Journey. Thank you so much. The Collector P, what's going on? All right, let's see if we got any more. Okay, guys. I think look, what time is it? We're gonna do a couple more things before we end today. I think I basically summed up everything that I wanted to say. You want to troll me because I'm selling comics now? Who are you gonna have? Somebody out. It's so funny. Somebody has to sell comics, and like I said, whether it's somebody that has a YouTube channel or somebody that sells on Whatnot or eBay or somebody that owns an LCS, all of these people follow the same business model of pennies to the dollar. Otherwise, they wouldn't be selling comics and you wouldn't have comics to buy. You would not be enjoying this hobby, and it boils down to that. It's that simple. You want to hate me? Hate your LCS owners just the same or more, because I'm still paying more than LCS owners are. I've still yet to pay roughly under 50 cents a book for any collection that I buy. I'm still breaking out books of value and giving them a fair market value for them when I buy collections. Fat Dad, what's going on? Yeah, nobody trolls the LCS owners. So, it is what it is. But I'm going to keep being honest, ethical, and transparent. I have a very high of morals that I set for myself, and I live by those. I teach my children those, and I will never give up my morals and my values for an extra dollar or two in my pocket. I will never give up my morals or my values for clicks and views on my channel. I would never give up my morals or my values to try to swindle somebody out of their collection in an unethical manner. And that's what it boils down to. But at the end of the day, you all, you gotta, dude, you gotta stop being emotional. You gotta stop being immature in your thought process. You gotta understand the way the world works. You gotta understand the way that the comic book hobby and it's just that simple, and it's a matter of fact, and it is fact. It's a fact. Yeah, exactly. Coco, trying to make money at something you love? How dare you? And there's a fine line. There's a line that we can ride, guys, where we hold unethical people accountable. But don't just sit here and think that, oh, he's buying collections, and we got to stop it. Stop being butthurt because you don't want to face the fact that maybe your comic collection isn't as valuable as you might think. If I'm just being blunt. So, yeah, no, it's not. I want to point this out too. I appreciate this. Completionist, love the name. This it's not about justifying it. It's about educating. And I always want to make that clear. This isn't about me at the end of the day, because guess what? I'm going to come here and do this live stream, and the people are going to troll no matter what. I guarantee you, if the same people that have been giving me crap are still going to you think this is going to stop them? This is going to make them troll me even harder, because that's what trolls do. Because they can't stand it. They can't stand it. It's going to make them feel even more irrelevant and then they need to validate themselves some way. So what do? They're just going to try to attack harder. But then I'm going to pray for them and laugh, because it's so sad. This isn't about justifying it. It's about educating everyone. And I think there are people out there that probably truly believe that they have good intentions and trying to hold people accountable and saying, like, paying this much for collections, it's not right. Well, let me educate you. Understand the business, understand the hobby, understand the industry. Yeah, even Whatnot shipping is it's good for sellers. Whatnot shipping is good for sellers, but I think they need it. I think Whatnot needs to cap it. I had somebody buy like 40 books last sale, one person, and his shipping was like 30 something dollars. It's like once you hit a certain amount, you gotta have you gotta offer a parcel cost or something, because I could have put those same books or a flat rate large priority box, because I could have put that in a large priority box and saved him like $8 on shipping. It's crazy. Selling is an integral part to comic collecting. I enjoy just as much as buying and getting a good deal and putting it in my collection. Hey, very valid. Look at me. Look at me movement. Oh my gosh. All right, folks. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna spend about, we're gonna keep it short, but we're gonna do it. All right. We're gonna do it. I don't have a lot left in me. I'm gonna tell you that and be honest with you guys. You know, I get passionate. I put a lot of energy into these live streams. It's hot as hell out here and I'm sweating. But we're gonna do a little bit of this, and I know you guys love it. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, folks. So this is where I take the time to answer your guys' questions. It doesn't even need to be about comic books. You guys can ask me absolutely anything as long as it's like PG-13 rated and you're respectful. And I got to answer with nothing but the truth. And it could be pertaining to the conversation that we had today or anything that you guys want to throw at me. Let me have it. And I do want to remind you all, if this is your first time hanging out, please subscribe to the channel. I make content almost every single day of the week. I produce all different kind of contents. You know, I do spec and investing content, but it's not just that. I do market analysis and also current event news, controversial issues, tips on how to collect, anything that you could think of. I will put it and talk about it on my channel. Would I accept your offer of 10 cents a book for my collection? Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. One, because thank God I'm not in a position where I need money fast. One. Secondly, if I was to look in this room right now, I probably have close to 30,000 comic books. Okay. I would separate my graded books, which is only like 40 aside right now, and I would get multiple thousands of dollars for that with a snap of a finger. So I'm not in a position to need money quick. If I was in a position to need money quick, I'd sell my keys for a fair market value because I know how to do that. But you know what I might do? If I can move my 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I can move my 9 short boxes of DC Rebirth stuff for 20 cents, I would. If I could sell my 9 short boxes of DC Rebirth for 20 cents an issue, and I needed the money, that's what I would take that. I would take 20 cents an issue. I would, in bulk. Comic Journey, would I come on your channel for an interview? Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm very obviously busy. This is a job, so it takes a lot of time, but I would definitely be open to it. You know where to hit me up. Bronze Age asks, what video do you think I should make on my channel? Oh, man. Well, I know every video you've made, Bronze Age, but I mean, I would, you know what I would like to know? I know we have a lot of similar styles and similar ways of looking at the hobby. I would like to know, and I don't know if you've done this, I would like to know how you bag and board your books. Meaning, like, do you use Silver Age for your modern books, Silver Age size bags? Do you spend the money on all Mylar, no matter the value of your comic book? Do you use just standard poly bags and just are for your keys? Do you go all out and buy full backs for your books? That's something that I would like to get your perspective on. It's always good to get different collectors. No deal. No deal. Ew, moldy books. That's the worst. Never. I will never have a moldy book in my collection. Anthony, financial building your business. Did you do any compound interest? When building your business, did you do any compound interest? I'm just learning about it. Any advice, especially in the comic industry? In what context? Um, Anthony, because like right now, I'm not. There's nothing a part of my business that I really have to look at any type of compound interest. I don't have any. First off, I don't have any loans where I have to consider compound interest in terms of costs, right? So I would, if you can add a little more context to that. Coco, what do you think of all those Whatnot exclusives being so valuable so quickly? The Invincible ones are going for more some of the early issues in the series. I could care absolutely less about them. To me, they're just paper. But that's just me as a collector. Somebody else wants to find value in them? Fine. Do I think they're going to hold? Heh, good luck. Do I think that those are going to hold? Unless there's a key attribute to them, I think it's going to be hard for them to hold. Will they like crash and be worthless? No, I don't think so. But I don't know. There's just a huge risk involved there. Huge risk. Matthew asks, would you read a book called Wage, Labor, and Capital Values, Price, and Profit? Hell yeah, I would. I love, man, I went to school for this stuff. I love reading about this stuff. Yep. I suggest, look, man, you don't need to go to school to be educated to the way the world works. I highly recommend everyone learn about business and economics, even just a little bit. Everyone. Do a Wolverine video. Okay, what type of Wolverine video specifically? Like Wolverine books to invest in? Brandon? Swaggle needs video ideas. Brandon would buy an LCX exclusive before Whatnot. Me too. I think I would. I don't know. It depends. Honestly, I wouldn't buy either. I'm good. I wouldn't buy either. Thanks, Bronze, man. I appreciate it. Common Journey is going to give me the Alka Seltzer. I hate curved backboards. Hey, yeah, I hear you. Dale, should I get some comic CG seed? Sell those, buy more expensive raw books, CGC those, and so on until I get Dale. The short answer to that is why not? If you need the pay, you got to be able to have the funds right now to invest into it and not have those funds available. So make sure you're paying your bills. Everything's good. Because you're going to put money out that you're not going to see a return on for a while. And if you can keep that cycle up, absolutely. Absolutely. But you got to have the patience for it, man. I mean, it's not for everyone. All right. Otme, do you think EGS will be formidable company to stand against CGC and such in the future? Great question. For those that know, Tony Trombetta, president of EGS, good friend of the channel, really awesome guy. He sponsors a segment that we do on Mobile Cannon. And I have to make that clear before I even talk about EGS because, and Tony knows this, I will never sugarcoat anything. When I talk about EGS as a company, I'll be honest in everything that I say. So know that everything that's going to come out of my mouth right now is 100% honest and has nothing to do with the fact that I built a working relationship with Tony and I know Tony. Tony is in one of the most toughest positions that a business can be in. He has entered an almost impenetrable market. But Tony, over the last 3 calendar years, has grown his business. He's grown his business without having his own proprietary slabs. He's grown his business starting out with a very small network of individuals. That right there shows that Tony's doing something right with his business. Do I think EGS has a long way to go? Not even to compete with CGC, but to compete with themselves. Yes. But they are making that first step right now because we're probably just a couple months away from their proprietary cases. And I'm so excited. I think EGS has a bright future. I think they need to be optimistic and humble. They need to be humble about the critique that they get. I think they need to be humble about knowing where they need to grow, where they need to evolve, and what they need to change. I think they need to continue to be transparent. I think they need to continue to build on that while these other companies aren't so transparent. At the end of the day, EGS catching CGC. It's not even about them catching CBCS. It's about them being a formidable business entity in their industry and being able to make enough money and have a large enough percentage of the market base for them to be sustainable. And I absolutely think with all of my heart, not even my heart, but my mind when looking at it logically, that Tony and EGS have the ability to push EGS for the long haul. I think they're going to continue to compete with CGC, but again, they don't even need to. They could just keep doing what they're doing. And that'll be good enough for them to be successful, if that makes sense. How much of your PC has no value, but you have it because you love to read or the art? A lot of my DC Rebirth stuff, a lot of my Marvel Now stuff, but the bulk of my collection is bronze to copper. And when I say bronze to copper, that's up until 1992. You know, I'm a collector of runs. I have a full run of Thor Volume 1. I have a full run of Web of Spider-Man, a full run of Spectacular Spider-Man, a full run of Captain America Volume 1, a full run of some of the smaller Bronze Age runs like Inhumans and Spider-Woman and Nova. So there's definitely some value in a lot of it, and I collect a lot of that to read. But I definitely, and here's the funny thing. A lot of my newer books, I hardly ever pay cover price for. I've been a bargain shopper my whole life, and I like to keep it that way. And all the new stuff that I buy because I read or maybe I like the cover art, I buy it through previews at 35. So, but yeah, not everything for me is an investment. I always care about the long-term investment of what I'm leaving for my family, and I've learned to focus on quality over quantity. That definitely matters to me more now than it did in the past. I hope that they remain okay. Absolutely. All right. I might be skipping over a few of your guys' questions here. Mark Lineker. Admit to your last FOMO purchase. Oh man. Give me a minute, guys. Last FOMO purchase. Last FOMO purchase. We had Endgame. We had Spider-Man. We had Black Widow. We had WandaVision. We had Loki. We had Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was going after Cap 25, the first appearance of Sam Wilson as Captain America, but I never pulled the trigger. And I was kind of, thinking I wanted to, if this was after the show, and I'm like, damn, I'm late to the party. Do I want to spend this? I never bought it. We had Falcon and Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Hawkeye. We had Shang-Chi. Mark, I'm being honest. I don't FOMO like that. Here's the thing. Remember when the female Loki thing was going on, and there was that Thor annual, I forget which number from the late 80s, that had like Loki shape shifted into a woman on one panel, and people were FOMOing about it. I bought that one, but it was a low grade that I bought for $2. I bought it for $2. So do you consider that a FOMO purchase? I mean, I don't have one. If anything, I bought an early, I think I bought the second appearance of Enchantress after the Enchantress showed up in Thor, even though it was a different Enchantress. But that's Journey into Mystery 10. And it wasn't really a FOMO purchase because I was already collecting those later Journey into Mystery books, but I prioritized that one just in case. Look, the last time I really FOMO'd, guys, was during DC Rebirth, and I thought that these books are going to be worth money. And I was buying every single run, and now they're, a lot of them are dollar bin books. And that was 5 years ago plus now. That was the last time I really FOMO'd. And I'm being completely honest with you guys. Don't get me wrong. When stuff happens, I'll go on Mercari looking for deals. I'll go on eBay looking for deals, but I know when I'm not FOMOing out and paying some exuberant amount of money. I know when a FOMO spec drops, I will only buy it if it's like, sleeping. If somebody's sleeping on it and listing it for a price, or it's in a back issue bin and I could get it for under current fair market value. So, and that's the God honest truth. Yeah, man. Brandon, you got some good ideas for sure. Storm for sure. Do you still trust CGC, Dan? I never trusted CGC. I don't trust CGC at all. But it doesn't mean that I don't value certain aspects of their business. I don't trust CBCS. Do I trust EGS? I have more reason to. I have more reason to trust EGS because I know Tony. I've had conversations with Tony. He how he runs his business, transparent, much more so than the others, and I could talk to him about things. And it built. So I would say like my trust in EGS is building. It's growing. My CGC, they do things that allow me to trust certain things, and then they do things that deteriorate the trust. So the recent things that they've done are huge question marks for me. I trust CGC more than PGX, 100%. That's just a fact. But, it doesn't mean that I'm going to blackball the company or that I hate the company overall. But trust is a strong word. Brandon, that's awesome, man. I have like 9 years without a drink. What is my holy grail, and can we see it? All right. So my holy grail, I would say AF-15, but I doubt I'll ever own that. My holy grail that I want to own, that I hope to own one day, Amazing Spider-Man #1. My holy grail that I own, though, I will show you. If it's in here. Give me a second. My holy grail that I own, and this isn't the biggest book that I own, it's just my personal holy grail that I own, is my Amazing Spider-Man 129. It's a 3.0, but I'll tell you, man, this book looks beautiful for a 3.0. I think what hit it is the spine. See, like that right there. The spine kind of really took this book down. But this is my holy grail that I own, although I have bigger books. Like, I know my FF48 is worth more than this off the top of my head. But, yep. So, there is that. Some of my favorite artists. John Romita Jr., John Romita Sr., hands down. Sal Buscema, Gil Kane, Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, George Perez. I mean, those are obviouses. Modern artists. I love Mark Brooks and Alex Ross. It's somebody that I think is slept on, especially as a cover artist. Alex Garner. Alex Garner is amazing. Sometimes some of his work looks like Alex Ross, and it's hard to tell them apart. But being a huge fan of Spider-Man and reading all those runs, Ron and Sal, both are great artists, but Sal's done amazing work on Spider-Man and Captain America. I love what George Perez did in the 80s with Wonder Woman and some of his Avengers stuff. But, I mean, growing up, obviously Jim Lee, as an artist, Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane I copy their work. I mimic their work. But John Romita Sr. is probably absolutely my favorite artist of all time. Absolutely X11 when it comes to Tony and EGS, for sure. Yes, Fat Dad, I hear you on that as well, for sure. Terry asks, I'm from Canada. Is it worth it for me to buy my comics from my comic shop instead of my LCS that offers nothing? So, Terry, it might very well be, because what you need to do is you got to figure out shipping. And you just got to do the math. Do the math. If you spend, if there's 100, if you have the cover, if a cover price of books is $100 and you get 35% off, that's $35, right? So that's $65. So if you could spend, buy the same amount of books and you're paying $100 at your LCS, $65 from my comic shop, if shipping is less than $35, it's worth it. It would be worth it to buy from my comic shop. You just got to do the math to figure that out. All right, guys, I'm going to take a few more questions, and then I got to get in and eat some dinner. I'm pretty hungry here, but I've had a great time hanging out with you guys tonight. Great questions as well, on top of a great topic today. All right, let's see. I'm just going to pick a few random questions, guys. Oh, wow, X11. That's a great question. I think you're talking about X11. I think you're talking about Zumbi with Zion I. Obviously a mentor to me. I was a fan, and then we were able to build a friendship. It would be I don't remember which book it is. Zumi was a huge Tribe Called Quest fan, and it would be the hip hop variant, that did the Tribe Called Quest album, but I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. But that was easy for me to think of. It would be that, hands down, just knowing that, the Tribe Called Quest influence on him. Yep. Absolutely. Mark asks, would I ever consider doing my own comic? As an artist, no. I'm not the type of artist to do storyboards. I would be more of a cover artist. I would love to do my own comic as a cover artist, but I wouldn't pencil the insides of a comic. Couple more questions, folks. Yeah, I just saw Mark. So you've never MCU'd FOMO'd. Yeah, Mark, I mean, again, it's like, I've been there. I have been there with the emotion where I pick up the phone and I'm looking at Mercari, but I've never made a purchase where once it's hit and the prices are doing this, I pay that price. Never. And that's the God honest truth. And over the last few years, I've tried to be very ahead of the curve. I've been ahead of the curve with Nova, with Quasar. I was ahead of the curve with Moon Knight. Moon Knight #1. I don't own his first appearance. I just couldn't. So, and look, there's characters like the Thunderbolts. I'm not a Thunderbolts fan. I had no reason to go buy the first appearance of Thunderbolts, and now that it's not for me. Jordan Ori now, that's a different story. Wonder Man, that's another one. I don't care about Wonder Man. I mean, cool. I think they could. I'm excited to see who would play him. I don't care about going and buying Wonder Man's first appearance just because he's in the MCU now. I'm good. I am so good. Is Steph Curry the GOAT? Yes or no? Okay, look. Oakland born, Bay Area raised, family from Chicago. Grew up a Bulls fan during the Jordan Pippen era. Always love and respect the Warriors, hometown team. Michael Jordan is the GOAT, hands down, any way you slice it. If he didn't retire twice in the middle of his prime, he would probably have 9 or 10 championships in a row. I actually have a video that I have breaking down the analytics in a way that nobody talks about it, comparing him to LeBron, and it doesn't even come close. Steph Curry, is he a GOAT? He's not done, and I put Steph Curry top 5. Top 5 of all time, hands down. I put LeBron there too. I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm not. But when you talk about MJ, Kobe, and LeBron, you better throw Steph Curry's name in there. You better throw his name in there. I don't want to hear it. Steph Curry is not just a three-point shooter. He's not just the greatest shooter in the world or that's ever existed. He is an all-around player. He's a better career defender than LeBron will ever be. The way he drives to the hole like Kobe Bryant. Well, a little different than Kobe because he's built different. Steph Curry can do everything and anything, and that's why he wins championships. Period. Steph Curry is the greatest player of this generation. Hands down. Hands down. It went Michael. It went Magic, Michael, Kobe, Curry. LeBron had a little window of opportunity in the early 2000s. And maybe you could throw LeBron in there, but it was for a much shorter period. Literally, it was from 2010 to 2013, where LeBron, you could say, was the GOAT of that period. Because Kobe, coming off his last championship, getting older. You could give LeBron that slot. But over the last 8-9 years, Curry, hands down, best player of that generation. Yeah, Swaggle just brought it out, man. Viper GTS, what's going on? Jonathan asks, hey, Chris, do you have any sponsors? I love seeing your videos with lack of ads, but would also love to see you get paid. Lots of other YouTube comment guys head that direction. It's part of the hustle. Okay. I do have a few sponsors. I'm very cautious about sponsorships. I don't just take any sponsorships. I have denied sponsorships because it doesn't align with me. And I'm not just going to sell out, and sell a product just to get money. My ad revenue was much more than my sponsorship revenue every month. My ad revenue is my bread and butter. When you guys watch cable, you guys have to sit through 90 to sometimes 3-minute commercial breaks every 10, 12 minutes when you're watching a TV show. When you watch my videos every like 5 minutes, you might have to have a 5-minute pop-up break and then skip it. Or you might get a bumper on the bottom that you just click away. You guys are paying my bills by being able to see that. So until I get sponsored by Nike and I got my own shoe endorsement, I cannot not roll ads on my videos. There's just no way. I produce content. I work 7 days a week, guys. So I don't take a day off. I don't. Even on days when I don't upload a video, I'm working. I'm editing the video for the next day. I don't get paid that much. And I'm trying to keep growing. So this can be long term. You guys consume my hard work for free. And while I'm not saying that for me to sound ungrateful, because without you guys, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. But you got to understand that this is free to you guys. And if you can't skip a few 5-second ads or click off of a bumper, I don't know what to say. You know, what you could do is you could buy the YouTube Premium. And then what you do is anytime somebody with YouTube Premium watches my videos, I get revenue. It's very, very small. It's like similar to ad revenue. It's like pennies per click. But hey, then you can watch my videos ad free and still support the channel, because a little bit of what you're paying into the YouTube Premium does come over to me every time you watch a video. But I mean, at the end of the day, with the sponsorships that I have, with the ad revenue, I'm telling you guys, when you cut it hourly, I'm making well under minimum wage. Well under minimum wage doing this for you guys. But I love it. I love what I do. And I want to be able to do this and continue to grow to do this for you guys. I don't want to go work the 9 to 5 anymore, where I may be making more money, but I'm not happy. And I just working for somebody else to get rich. It's not me. I have a purpose here and I want to fulfill that purpose. And I have pride in doing that. So I hope I keep doing that right now. I'm going to take my sponsorships. I'm going to take the ad revenue, and I appreciate every single time you guys click on my videos, watch my videos, comment on my videos, hit the thumbs up on my videos, hit the thumbs down on my videos. I appreciate you more than words could say, because seriously, think about me next time I'm sitting there, buying my son's an ice cream cone from the ice cream parlor or something. Like, you guys are making that happen. You really are. So kind of think of it like that. All right. All right. I'm going to get to one last question, folks. LeBron James is the whiniest baby ever. But I'll tell you what, Dan, off the court, he's a good human being. And you can't take that away from him. I can't stand his attitude on the court is just beyond me. But when he's off the court, he is a good human being and an amazing father to his children and a good person within his community. Comic Journey, Steph is no Kareem or Wilt, but he doesn't need to be. And that's besides the point. Jordan wasn't Kareem or Wilt, but they were built differently. They play differently in a different era. I'm sorry, Kareem and Wilt, as great as they would be, they would change how they would play today because of the way the game's built. And that's just a fact of the matter. Overall, I rank Steph Curry over LeBron James all day, every day. And he ain't even done. Tim Curry. Bird. Absolutely. Bird. Late 70s, early 80s, Bird all day. Look, it's so funny. I'm going to say something controversial right now. Put Bird in the 2000s and 2010s. Put Bird in the league during the years that LeBron played, Bird would have better stats and more championships than LeBron. Hands down. That's my word. That's my bird. Larry Bird, playing from the 2000s to today, would have better stats and more championships than LeBron. Hands down. Hands down. That's why I put Bird in my top 5, at least top 6. Nah, Steph is not. Nope, Steph is Steph. Steph Curry is Steph Curry. KD is a great player, but it is what it is. He ain't. I don't put KD. I don't put KD in top 10. Maybe top 20. Until, KD wins a championship without Curry. I mean, he had all them superstars around him for so many years. Even this year. Nope. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. And yeah, I appreciate your question too, because that's a real life question right there, I do that too, Comic Journey. Like I'll sometimes let the ads play on certain people's videos just to get to that second one. Karl Malone, oh my gosh. All right, guys. I think we're gonna end it there. Man, I went longer than I thought I was gonna go today, but what a great show. All around, even the whole truth, man. You guys, great questions, great conversation. I really do appreciate you guys. I have a video that I'll be uploading either tomorrow or Sunday that I just need to edit it, but I'm gonna do my best to enjoy my weekend with my dad, with my kids. I hope all the fathers out there can do the same with your kids. And I hope those of you that still have your fathers in your life, cherish the moments. Go make it special. Get off of YouTube. Turn your phones off. Go visit with family. Spend some time with your kids. Spend some time with your dad. Because that's what is really, really important. Or if you're watching YouTube, bring your kid along with you. Bring your dad along with you. Something like that, right? Thank you guys so much for another awesome Friday. Have a safe weekend. Like I said, if you're not sub, please do so. Almost every single day, the content's here. Click the notification bell to, make sure you know when the next videos are coming down the pipeline. I'll have more updates next week about my next Whatnot sale. Look out for that too. And remember, no comic book canon show this Sunday. We will be back the following Sunday. Thank you guys all so much. Be well. Be safe this weekend. Until next.